it's Holden, it's DC, it's Hoop. I don't know where Sweet Travis is. Mangone was supposed to host this thing. All I'm doing is coming on for 5 minutes to give away a subscription, but Mangone decided to just blow the show off. DC, it seems like you're terribly disappointed in Sweet Travis. Please express your frustrations.
All right. It's all right. You know, we all make mistakes. Maybe Mangone, he's sleeping in. I think he's a late sleeper, so perhaps he's still in bed, something like that. I don't know what's going on with Mangone, but hey, we got who we got, and baseball back up the schedule. We got who we got. I've got a way with words today, as you can tell. So
we got.
Listen, July 5th, Monday, July 5th. How was there no day baseball today? I got to say.
There was, huge. That's just, I pulled it up today. I was like, all right, we're going to get going.
You would assume there was like 4 or 5 games, and it's nothing.
Today's the national holiday. So any government employee, like today's the day everyone has off. Like any business, today's the day people have off. Huge. That's a massive mistake that there's no day baseball today.
It's definitely asinine. I'd like to just say Jay Burton, 18, softball. He hit me up. He's like, dude, I want to give away a monthly subscription. I said, that's great. We could do it on the free show. Why don't we do that? Let me just get on with Mangone, Hoop, and DC. And how many likes, Hoop? How many likes do you want to give away a free 1 month sub from Jay Burton?
Oh, we got to see. Today's got to be one of the bigger hangover days on the calendar, right? Everyone hit it hard yesterday. I'm assuming just naturally numbers are going to be a little lower for that reason today. Yeah. People are struggling to get around. So let's, can we circle back here in a little bit and see what sort of number we get to, and then make a determination. It's going to kind of hard early on. Like I said, it's going to be, people are moving slow today, and not
feels like one of those shows people are going to be kind of rolling in as the show goes on. Maybe a slower start.
Okay. Okay. Well, let me go look at the slate with you. I didn't think I was coming on. I'm happy to do so. Love working with you guys. Oh, Hoop, real quick before we do this, how'd you do at the Pro-Am? I haven't seen you since then. What happened? Yeah. What's going on? How's the golf?
Yeah, so first off, it was a phenomenal experience. We were partnered with a couple guys who was a member at that Detroit Country Club. He knew the course. I had my buddy with me. He is close to a scratch golfer. He played in college, just really good, still solid. So, my goal was to just get off the tee, the first tee. I didn't want to embarrass myself. The wife, the kids, they're all they came to watch. So the kids were kind of cheering, and it's not like there was a huge crowd for the Pro-Am, but there's people watching. And typically when I golf, there's not many people watching. So, I managed to get up there, kind of zoned out, and I piped one down the middle of the fairway on the first. Didn't have an embarrassing I felt good about it. So my buddy, who's really like a scratch golfer, he was super nervous. So he gets up there, bombed it out there, but he hooked it like it might have ended up in someone's backyard, but it was like a shamble. So he only took the best drive. So it worked out all right. Didn't have an embarrassing shot, I'd say, until it was the par 5. We started on 10. It was a par 5 14. Our best tee shot was in the rough, but the rough at this course really doesn't matter. We were 250 out. I had no chance to get there, so my shot really didn't matter. I was going to be done with this hole anyway. So in the rough, hit it, and probably went 15 yards in front of me, total miss hit. And I was like, oh, whatever, I'll take it. We're 4 or 5 holes in, the first bad shot. And of course, my 7-year-old son is right there, outside of the ropes. And his reaction, he's like, Dad, what was that? That was a terrible shot. And the whole crowd starts laughing and everything. I got called out by my son, first bad shot. But the best part about that hole is my buddy that was, pretty good. He had been somewhat struggling up to that point. He kind of piped it 250 yards, hit on the green. We had an eagle putt. So it all worked out well. Fun experience. We ended up getting rained out after 10 holes, unfortunately, but it was still cool.
Look who made it. Sweet Travis. He's here.
Right.
What happened, Sweet Travis?
I have if you look at the graphics, right? I'm the one who does the graphics every day. I get them from Simon and I send them out on Twitter. When I don't see my face in the graphic, I just assume I'm not there, right? That's just how I operate. So I gotta double check the schedule next time. I know JSU, it's 4th of July, right? It was a little slower to get that schedule moving. So
I heard that. I listen, you want to throw JSU under the bus? Let's have a fiesta.
I could have checked the calendar, correct, but I always see that if I don't see my mug on there, I just assume I'm not there, I guess, because every day I see it. I know who's on just from seeing the people's faces on it.
Just real quick, Hoop, since you're part of the executive team here, is it JSU's fault or Sweet Travis's fault?
Yeah, I got to get the full information on the situation. But the graphic, I will say, in Travis's defense, the graphic did have Title's ugly mug on there, not Mangone's ugly mug. So from one
I
ugly
figured
mug,
Title was coming, Hoop, to like talk about the Bucks and the Suns, right? I mean, it just seemed like the perfect time.
he's got to be just sitting at home at mom's basement, peeling off to this NBA Finals starting tomorrow. I mean, he's got to be so pumped.
He doesn't do that. He's afraid his hands will turn hairy. Mangone, it's up to you. You want me to stick around? You want to? I don't care. I'll host the show. You want to do some analysis?
Yeah, I mean, whatever you want to do.
Let's do it. Let's have some fun. Yeah. Let's go. It's my day off. I don't give a shit. Jay Burton's giving away a free subscription.
This is, by the way, this is DC's worst nightmare. He gets to talk the sticky stuff with Hoop, which he doesn't love, right? He gets to talk with Holden for too long, and then I'm here to make the show go even longer. So DC is just stuck here.
Yeah.
Hey,
don't worry about it.
Hey, DC's sticky stuff bailed out Hoop yesterday. I'll talk about that when we get to the pitchers. He was looking out for his boy yesterday, and it definitely. Well, I mean, the guy I went to didn't exactly pan out, but it was better than the alternative.
Well, hey, let's start with it. And I know, listen, DC's chomping at the bit, so let's start with DC a pitcher. We'll get him going. No more screwing around, DC. Lot to go through here between Woodruff, Cease, Musgrove, Tyler McGill, Colby Allard. I'm just naming off dudes now, left and right. It's like, I think there's the assumption that there's not a lot tonight, and I think that you can actually get a couple of pitchers that crush. Your thoughts on pitcher, DC?
Yeah, I think it's a little thin at pitcher for sure on a 9-game slate. Woodruff up top, 10.4K on DraftKings. I do think he's the top option. It's a pretty good matchup against the Mets. They're getting healthier, but this is still a good place to pitch, especially when you consider some of the other games where, we got like a Wrigley win game, and just there are certain spots where you just can't even touch. And as far as I'm concerned, in terms of pitchers. So I do think Woodruff stands out as the number one option to me. Number two, I think you could make the case for a lot of different guys. Dylan Cease is the second most expensive. I'm a little concerned with his performance going forward. The thing that Hoop mentioned yesterday, I saw Lucas Giolito in Hoop scores, and there's just some really big warning signs with Giolito with the foreign substance enforcement. And I was like, I wouldn't play this guy right now. And, he was bad once again. I'm a little worried about kind of something similar happening with Dylan Cease. So we'll see on that one. I still think he's an okay play. Musgrove, I think, is solid, but again, another guy who's, I think, performance is going to take a little step back here. I think it kind of already has, and I think that could continue. I do like Max Fried quite a bit against Pittsburgh. The matchup is good. Strikeout upside not super high, but I think he'll be solid. And then, my SP2 probably today is Tyler McGill, rookie for the Mets. Big dude, 6'7", 6'8", throws 94, 95, and throwing strikes. He's faced Atlanta in his first two outings. We know how hot the Braves have been recently and has performed well. It has been good, high strikeout rates throughout the minor leagues. He's looked really good to me, especially that last start, 8 strikeouts over 5 innings against Atlanta, got up to 92 pitches the start before that. So he's going to be a full go. So it's not, it's a super comfortable feeling, but I do like Tyler McGill as the SP2 at 7,200. Milwaukee's really been hitting, which is kind of a concern, but if you look at the lineup overall, still think it's a pretty good matchup. And again, pitching in New York looks like a good spot. So I kind of like that New York Mets stadium pitching stack. Woodruff, McGill both look like good options to me.
Before we get to Hoop, about the sticky stuff, who's the sticky stuff guy tonight that we should be looking for? Is Cease one of those guys? Any of these guys?
Yeah. Cease is going to see his stuff kind of decline a little bit. I still think he's going to be a good pitcher. That's kind of the common theme here is a lot of these guys are going to take a step back, but we've seen some. I mean, Garrett Cole, Giolito have taken massive step backs. I don't think that's going to be the case for Cease. The problem is we're still looking at a small sample size, right? So when you see the stuff decline, right, the spin rates decline, you wonder a little bit, perhaps the poor performances like we've seen for Cole and Giolito could be coming too, right? And maybe they were just able to manage it through the first couple starts without it. So it's a concern for sure with Dylan Cease.
All right, Hoop. What happened here with the sticky stuff? How'd you get saved?
Oh yeah, I mean, yesterday I was kind of going back and forth between those three guys like Giolito, Morton, and who was it, Freddie Peralta, I think. And the team I built just kind of landed on Giolito, so I kind of just plugged him in as my guy. I didn't have a strong lean. DC was looking out for his boys. Like, hey, might want to be careful. Last outing was about as bad as it gets.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I've never sent you a message about your cores, being like, no, I wouldn't play this guy. But this was just like one of those situations. I had dug into it earlier in the day. I'm like, really don't feel good about Giolito's situation. I mean,
and he got rocked. I mean, got rocked right from the start. So I mean, I wasn't closely paying attention to baseball yesterday. I kind of pulled it up, and they had given up like 4 out of, I think.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Morton didn't do that great either. But
yeah, so I went to Morton, and he didn't do all that. But it would have been worse being on Giolito. So it was the right call. But in terms of today, I mean, I think I'm actually like fully in lockstep with what DC was kind of saying. I mean, it's easy enough to just pay up for Woodruff at 10-4. I mean, he's by far the most stable option on the slate. And to me, there's like 3 or 4 other guys that are all pretty similar. Musgrove, I think, is in play a little bit. Fried, a little bit. This Allard guy for the Rangers, and then Tyler McGill for the Mets. McGill's the cheapest. So, I think Woodruff McGill makes a lot of sense when you're building your teams. Now, maybe you have some extra salary and you can, come up a little bit more. But I mean, those are probably the only 4 or 5 guys I'm playing on the slate. This slate is about it's about hitting. I mean, it's a lot of really good hitting spots. We've got the Wrigley win game today. That's obviously going to be popular. But outside of that, there's still 5, 6 other spots that are really, really appealing for DFS purposes. So. Narrowing down those guys, to me, those teams, way more important than what I'm going to do at pitcher. Woodruff, easy to play on DK. I mean, at 10-4. FanDuel again. I mean, once again, they continue to have sharper pitching pricing for the most part. And on FanDuel, Woodruff's 11-4. So a little bit harder. But you can definitely still make it work. He's clearly the most stable, safe option on the slate.
Sweet Travis, I don't know if you saw what Pumacom Simon did to us yesterday, but at the end of our show, he ended up putting your visor on me and calling you Sweet Travis in the credits. Did you guys see Travis's 4th of July visor? It was pretty sexy. Where did it go, Travis? Put it back on, dude.
I think it's in the car, and I will say this. When I was playing volleyball yesterday, I was playing a little bit better. People noticed the skills were stepped up when the visor was on. So
finally be yourself. Right?
It gives you the confidence, Holden.
It does, my friend. So are you throwing Woodruff in there right away, Mangone? What's the plan tonight?
Yeah, so here's a good takeaway. So I was listening to JT's Bang Bang Plays video maybe a month or 2 ago, right? He talked about some of the places that have the humidor in them, right? There were 5 unknown stadiums, and I want to list them all off. I wrote them down because I thought it's important. This is something to carry on, and we've noticed, I think, over the past month. But St. Louis has a humidor, and these are all the places. That was one that got a newer one, right? Houston has one, Miami, Toronto, but not the Toronto here, Toronto in Canada, right? So that one doesn't count yet, but they will have one. Texas, Colorado, New York, Arizona, Boston, and Seattle. New York is on that list, and it's the New York Mets, right? Woodruff is pitching. You got McGill. I love attacking that game and just playing both pitchers because of that alone, especially with there being a lot of heat right now going on. And this is a place, it's a little bit hotter in New York than it has been in the past, but that humidor definitely helps. And I think we've seen that a ton. And Woodruff, it's a perfect spot for him. So I want to do that double SP pairing. I think it's pretty good. Musgrove, I understand at 8.7K, you can make an argument it's a 2K difference from Woodruff. So if that helps you get in the bats, that's perfectly fine. Or if you're big platoon and you got all these 2K guys in your lineup, right? And you don't want to go with McGill and you want to go Musgrove and Woodruff route, that's perfectly fine. I mean, those are really the main 3 that I'd be looking at. One last guy that I'll mention, Colby Allard. And I get it. It's not the sexiest spot because all those righties on the Tigers can definitely mash at times, right? I mean, I do get a little scared when I see a lefty against the Tigers, but this one is in Texas, right? And if the roof is closed, which it typically is closed, it's not a bad spot for a guy like Allard who can pick up strikeouts a ton. It feels like kind of a boom bust spot for a guy like Colby Allard that could be a little bit lower owned in tournaments.
All right, DC, let's get to the position players. Before we do that, though, hit the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Again, one of our subscribers, Mr. Burton, is giving away a 1-month subscription today Hoop, it's time. You gotta give the like, buddy. You got one of our subscribers is giving one of you a subscription from the bottom of his heart because he wins so much money. He's like, screwed. I don't even need this money. Let's just pay it back for good mojo. Hoop, we're at 129. What do we need? 130 now. What do we need? 300, 250? What do you got?
I was gonna say 250. We get to 250. We'll go ahead and give out that monthly subscription to somebody.
I mean, you're easy going, man. We had 250 on 4th of July Sunday morning show yesterday.
I've been on like a 1 week bender, so my mind is not. I'm thinking from the other side with these people. Like they're probably moving a little slow today. It might be hard for them to click that like button. I'm gonna make it nice and easy. 250. You're
feeling nice today. That's fine. DC. Catcher. I was asked who I would play a catcher, and then just really quick, I looked and I said, "Oh, Zunino's facing a lefty, so why not go with him?" If you're not throwing a catcher in your stack, who's your one-offs today?
Yeah, catcher is loaded today. About as good as I can ever remember. I mean, you mentioned Zunino. I agree with you. I think on your average 9-game slate, he would be the number one option. For me, not today, just because just incredible plays. I mean, both catchers in the Wrigley Field game, right? We're going to talk about that a lot, I think, on the show. It's real, right? It's 90 degrees in Wrigley Field with 15-mile-per-hour winds blowing straight out to center field. I've been to Wrigley Field for these games, and, man, the ball is just absolutely flying. You've got two pitchers on the hill in Zach Davies and Matt Moore who give up a lot of fly balls and don't strike people out, right? The one way you can kind of mitigate weather like that is to get ground balls or to strike people out. It doesn't matter what the wind's blowing in that case, but neither of these guys can really do it. So yeah, JT Realmuto at 3,800, which is like, I don't know, it's like $1,000 below where he's typically priced anyway. I mean, he just seems like a kind of a little bit of a lock and load. I've got him listed number one, but same game, Wilson Contreras likely leading off for the Cubs, gets Matt Moore, who gives up just a ton of fly balls, especially to righties. There's going to be a lot of home runs in this game. I really do believe that. So I prefer a catcher from that game. Either one, take your pick, I guess. I mean, both guys are just fantastic plays. But yeah, beyond that, Zunino looks good. Eric Haas for Detroit against Allard. I'm not really in on Allard today. I sounds like he might be a somewhat popular play. Not for me. Max Stassi against the lefty in LA. He crushes lefties too. So I do think you want kind of one of these top guys. I wouldn't punt catcher today. I think one, possibly more than one catcher is top end catcher is going to have a big day. So I do think you want to spend up here if you can.
Real quick then, if we're going to talk about the Cubs a lot today, why don't you just hit that, DC? Like, yeah, the wind is blowing out. I will say growing up in Wrigley that it can blow out at the beginning of the game. Then in the middle of the game, it's blowing in.
Sure.
But yes, like when you go into this game, you say to yourself, double digit total, right? I mean, I'm having a hard time not hitting over 11 today on this game, but yeah. Is everybody in play just because of the elements?
Yeah. I mean, you want power, right? Because, or at least fly ball hitters, guys that can get the ball up in the air. But thankfully, both these pitchers are going to kind of aid in that. I mean, the Phillies bullpen is just absolutely terrible as well. So that's a huge bonus to the Cubs stack. Just a great spot. And I'm with you. I mean, I think this totals up to 11.5 now. I'd still take the over on this one. And, you know, the damage that's done is going to be via the home run mostly, right? Which is obviously what we're kind of hoping for DFS purposes. So this is not, you know, I'm not always on the chalk, and there are sometimes reasons to get off it. This looks like a spot where I do think you want to get some exposure, or a lot of exposure, frankly, to Philadelphia and Chicago.
Hey, Hoop, the other game that I'm looking at today is the Royals going up against a dude that gives up 2 to 3 home runs a start. Gutierrez, he's absolutely awful. Salvi Perez would be there at catcher too. What's your catcher pool?
Yeah, I mean, love the Royals today. I do like that call, but I mean, this Wrigley game is going to kind of overshadow everything on the slate, and specifically talking at the catcher position. We have 2 strong options, and catcher's typically a position where we're kind of having to work hard to find guys who want to play. Not the case today. Wilson Contreras 4.8K, JT Realmuto at 3.8K. Now this is similar to a Coors game, and if JT Realmuto was playing in Coors, he'd probably be like 5.3 to 5.5K. You're getting basically like a $1,700, I think $1,800 discount on Realmuto today at 3.8. I mean, you can easily play him in. You're not sacrificing anything. I mean, under 4K, is to me like kind of value price tags. When you talk about guys under 4K, he's under 4K in an absolute dream spot, good matchup. So he's a really good play. Contreras is a really good play. If you're loading up on this game in other spots and you have to sacrifice something at catcher, I mean, you have a full punt in Roberto Perez. I mean, he's batting 8th, 2K. Jonah Heim batting 5th against Willie Peralta, 2.5K, and then Salvador Perez, 5K as well. I mean, I definitely prefer the Cubs that Cubs game, both those guys over Sal Perez, but the game theory people, I mean, it's a really good matchup for the Royals here today. I like the Royals. 5K, maybe you pivot to him, but a lot of options here, obviously. But the premier plays are going to be in that Wrigley game.
Hey man, let's get you a catcher, and then since you've been hanging out there by yourself for a while, why don't you just flip right to first base too? So first, your thoughts on the Cubs game today, and then get into catcher and switch over to first. A lot of work for you, buddy.
Yeah, we'll get it done, Holden. So
thank you.
Catcher's easy, right? I mean, it really is Contreras or JT Realmuto. I think for me, it's just targeting that Phillies game, and it's a great game to target. If you're gonna play it in GBPs, right? Don't be the guy that just plays like
Nap's in the lineup, buddy.
Oh, Nap's in the lineup. Okay, why is Realmuto not in the lineup? I thought, did that just come out?
Yeah, it's there. They said it was in there, so.
Yeah,
not official.
It literally just came out. Nap's batting 8th.
There you go.
I was gonna say, like, one of you guys said Realmuto, so I wasn't
literally just happened.
But that's unfortunate there on that price tag, because that was a really nice tag. But hey, Wilson Contreras still at 4.8. I think you can get him in there, and he could obviously be worth it. It's a pretty good spot. Also on FanDuel, right? Like, don't be afraid to play the catchers on FanDuel. Wilson Contreras over there is going to be a great option. Yes, you have the utility spot, so you can play some other guys, but Freddie Freeman will be getting some ownership. If we can just pivot right over to first base and talking about that. I mean, Freddie Freeman is one of the top first baseman options. If you look on this slate, right, one of the worst pitchers today is in that Pirates game, right? And I know it's not like the typically great ballpark, but DeJong is terrible, right? I mean, this could be a day where Freddie Freeman goes like 3 for 4 or 4 for 5, and I wouldn't be shocked. You also get those 9 innings where you get that extra at bat where Freddie probably gets the 5th at bat. It feels like in this game where that can always add up at times. And if he hits 1 home run, you're set, and he could just get him in bunches with having 5 at bats. And I think Freddie will definitely get there. He's worth the money for me today. He is 5.8K. It is a bit pricey, but I want to get him into my lineups. You can make a case too. Patrick Wisdom's got the dual eligibility, so you can throw him in at the first base position if you would like. But no doubt my top guy is I want to spend my money on Freddie Freeman today.
Okay. And then, we have Knapp catching Matt Moore, which if Knapp is connected to Matt Moore, this might not be a big night for Knapp because Moore might get completely shelled here, even if the wind was blowing in. DC, first base. What do you think of that? Did you see the Phillies lineup? What do you think of that? Because obviously they're in a spot today where they could crush. Do you need the lineup? I can roll it off to you.
Oh yeah, I got it. Looks like Realmuto's played 3 days in a row, so I'm guessing just a
night off,
a day off for him. Yep. Knapp. I mean, I bet Knapp will be popular. I think he is. What is he? 2,700 in that game. I'm sure a lot of people had Realmuto in their lineups already, and they're like, "Oh, he's out." Well, I can easily fit the catcher that is playing in there and then upgrade maybe another spot if I want to. So I don't love Knapp as much as I did Realmuto. I'll say that much, especially, at their price points. Knapp just really not a very good hitter whatsoever. So I will probably not go there, but I'm sure some people will. I'll prefer to get to Contreras in that game. Going back to first base, right? I'm with Mangone on Freeman. I do like the Braves quite a bit. They've just been so good recently, and Pittsburgh, really tough park for righty power, not too bad for left-handed power. So especially in a warm game in Pittsburgh, I think Freeman can certainly get it done. Both first basemen in the Wrigley game, right? Hoskins is in there hitting 6. That's not ideal, but still think he's a very strong play. And then Anthony Rizzo, I think you can play him left versus left. He hits lefties pretty well. Certainly not scared of Matt Moore. So I think Rizzo is a pretty solid option if you want to stick to that game, if you're stacking it up, whatever. And then going over to Kansas City, we've mentioned them a couple times already. I really think they can do some damage. They've got 2 first basemen you can play. Carlos Santana at 4,400 and Ryan O'Hearn at 3,200 hitting cleanup today. I think both guys very strong options against Gutierrez. Like you mentioned, Holden gives up a bunch of home runs. Haven't been impressed with what I've seen from him in his rookie year so far. So yeah, kind of the, I guess Freeman, the Wrigley game, and then the 2 first basemen from KC. Outside of those guys, I don't know. It doesn't seem like the greatest position. You know, most positions are pretty loaded, but first base seems a little bit thin. You could even argue catcher is a better overall position today, I think.
Hoop, anybody else you want to throw in the mix here?
Yeah, I mean, those guys hit on all my guys. The last guy I'm going to add to the conversation is our boy Gavin Sheets, 2.6K.
Yep.
So he's close to a
For cash, right?
Huh?
For cash.
Yeah, cash tournaments. I mean, I like the White Sox in tournaments here too.
He's got power. You can play him in any format. Yep.
I love
he's first base and outfield eligible. 2.6K on our boy Sheets is appealing. But yeah, I mean Freeman, Hoskins, Rizzo, Santana, O'Hearn. I mean, that was my list of first basemen, and they're all.
Can I ask DC one question? Because this is his guy, right? Bailey Oebner. Like this is your guy, right? You're all about him. You say he's a great pitcher, and I'm not doubting he is a good pitcher, right? Or could be going forward. My question to you, DC, is like the White Sox have been hot. It's a great ballpark for hitting today. Like I heard you mention Jose Abreu. Is this the spot? 'Cause I think they've already played Bailey Oebner at least once, maybe twice, like pretty recently. This could be the spot where it could get really ugly, and we see that Twins bullpen. Like the more I talk about it, I know it's not hard to convince me to play the White Sox, DC, but the White Sox, I mean, Jose Abreu, he's been hot too. I think this is like a really great spot for him as a nice pivot.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. I was kind of in on Bailey Ober. I mean, part of it was he was just super cheap, right? He was like 4K for his first couple starts. Has been really good in the minor leagues coming up. Last start, he struggled. You know, it was a struggle for Bailey Ober. So this is always one where I'm kind of like, I still kind of believe, but it's like a couple bad starts in a row, and you're like, do I want to jump off the train now, or do I want to, you know, because you feel like if you jump off, of course he's going to kind of deliver, like, you know, a lot of this. I mean, this happens, you know, the majority of the time, these pitchers that I think are going to be good end up being good somewhere down the road. But today, I mean, I prefer McGill for sure. I will have some exposure to Bailey Ober just because I'm not going to completely abandon him. You know, if he does deliver the gem that I think he can do it, I want to make sure I have him at, 5% ownership or whatever.
It's just his third game against the White Sox. Like he opened against them first one, and like third game since like May 18th, right? So I mean, obviously it's you'd want more. You probably want less time in between the third one, but literally the last start was the White Sox, so it could get really ugly. As the more I think about it.
I think the White Sox are certainly a viable stack. It is 95 degrees in Target Field tonight, which is like, I just don't. Obviously, the ball flies a lot better then, so that's a risk. But also, I just don't like rostering pitchers in that type of weather because, I just think some guys just like can't handle it. You know what I mean? It's just hard to pitch when it's that hot and humid out. So, yeah, that's kind of why I didn't bring him up when we were talking about pitchers. I think he's an okay play. I did list him on the playbook, I think 5th or 6th. But I have no problem if you want to go to the White Sox here. I could see them doing some serious damage. I'm with you.
The White Sox offense has just murdered the Twins this year.
This is like the best possible lineup I think they could have put out there today too, which kind of has me a little bit lower on them too.
Yeah, they got a strong lineup. I mean, almost all the way.
Oh, this is a good White Sox day. I can feel
it. I agree.
It's a good White Sox day. It looks like a Royals day and AL Central.
That's the thing. It's like the best possible day for like 7 different offenses.
Good. We want that, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Just from a strategy perspective, if you want to go with the Woodruff McGill combination that it seems like we're all pretty interested in, there are other places to go besides Wrigley Field, right? There is a lot of good offensive spots. So my recommendation would be to, if you want to get different, maybe do it at offense and not pitcher, because I think McGill and Woodruff will be pretty solid.
McGill and Woodruff is the pairing. So here's the deal, folks. Members never win. So let me tell you, members are crushing on showdowns. Even I am crushing on showdowns. It's amazing. Big T's rolling this stuff out, and every night it's up there. I know Hoop is like squirming. He's like, when is the heater going to end? But it's just never ending, Hoop. JSU and Tony with the final countdown. Every finals game, they're going to have something out for you late in the morning. So that day, and then in the Discord, those of you that are not subscribers, you need to get on this for the NBA season is over. Plus you get our great NBA or MLB content that you're seeing now. And the NFL, I mean, we're a month from the preseason, Hoopage. What do we got right now? RPS Heater 25. Is that our code still?
RPS Heater 25. And we're going to have something special starting next week for everyone that is not currently a member. So that's going to roll out on Monday. But you're going to want to get in sooner rather than later. That's all I'm going to say.
All right. Very good. Bombs BVP, if you care about that. Rizzo has a big BVP. I mean, I don't want to go. Thank you, Izzy. I don't want to go down the BVP wormhole because that's a conversation you're going to have an hour
Versus
on,
Matt
but-
Maury does?
He says Rizzo has a big BVP today. He's a BVP guy today. Anthony Rizzo.
Only 6 at bats, but he does have 2 home runs.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like BVP.
At least they're home runs.
Yeah.
At least they're home runs. Travis, what you doing over there, pal? How would you feel about starting second base for us?
We could start. Yeah, I was looking up. Remember, we talked BVP yesterday with JT, right? So I was looking to see how Chris Bryant did, right? He got a hit, he got a run, he got a walk. I mean, it worked out well. So the BVP got there for at least 9 points yesterday. So I was just looking to see if I could troll you a bit to see if Chris Bryant banged one out. But no one wins, right? It was a middle of the road game, but you'll take it. But we could start at second base and talk about that. I don't have my stuff pulled up yet though, but I'm trying to get there now.
Hey, DC, second base. Let's try and compensate for Travis, who's been lollygagging, trying to trap me in the Chris Bryant BVP world. What do you got at second base today?
Yeah,
don't tell me you got to pull it
up. Ran out on Travis. He wasn't quick enough.
Did.
For you, so it
Yeah,
goes
you
over
gotta
to
be ready.
Goes over to DC. Ozzy Albies at the top of my list here. I mean, dude's just been. It's an insane heater these last couple of months. If you look at his numbers in June and July, just massive stuff from Ozzy Albies. So I do like him as my number 1 second baseman. I actually think this position a little bit thin, to be honest. On a day that has a lot of good hitting options, I didn't see much here that I was really in love with, especially when you take price into consideration. So I had Albies number 1. I do like the Red Sox a little bit out in Los Angeles. I think you'll get them low owned against Jose Suarez, which I think is a pretty good spot. So Kike Hernandez, assuming he's leading off. I like Jonathan India some leading off against Matt Moore. I think the Reds could potentially be sneaky here. And then Jonathan Scope continues to get it done for the Tigers. It sounds like you maybe get a little leverage there against Kobe Allard. I think he'll be at least somewhat popular, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not really picking on the Tigers all that much right now. They're hitting a little bit. So Jonathan Scope, if you can spend all the way up. But yeah, Albies the top guy for me here.
Travis, are you ready?
Yeah.
Huh?
The what is it today? Tuesday? Oh, they postponed the game for tomorrow already because of weather. The Indians. What day is it today? Monday.
Monday.
Yeah, today's Monday.
Yeah, they postponed tomorrow's game.
I like being proactive.
Yeah, interesting.
Like
Kind of bizarre. I've never heard of that happening before.
I don't know if that's like an error or what, but that's
Maybe it is a mistake. I don't know. It seems kind of weird.
Mangone, you got that second base pool up, buddy?
Yeah, we're good. We can talk second base.
Let's hear it.
Obviously, Ozzy Albies, right? I do like some Braves today. So if you're playing some Freddie Freeman, Ozzy Albies has been crushing the ball. Even against DeGrom, it felt like he was hitting the ball pretty well against him. And when you're hitting against DeGrom, you can hit against anyone. So Ozzy Albies should be a great play today. Segura will be someone that I'm sure is pretty popular. I believe he is in the lineup, unless I haven't seen the full lineup.
Ben second, he's going to be super popular.
Yeah, figured he's going to be popular today. So if you're playing cash games, he's definitely one of those salary savers that you want to look at. I mean, he's only 3.2K, so don't ignore him. If you do think that Dylan Cease has some issues, right, and you want to do like a White Sox Twins game stack, Jorge Polanco definitely in play. I'm sure I think that's on Big T's, platoon split, right? I think play Jorge Polanco as a lefty. I think that's what it is. I don't know for sure. Check with him on the Final Countdown show when he's on with JSU and JT, but I'm assuming he will like him. And I'll never sleep on Whit Merrifield, right? If you are going to play some KC today, because I'm not a huge fan of Gutierrez, Whit Merrifield's one of those guys. If I do a Royal stack, I'm not leaving him off, right? Like if you do an Angel stack, don't leave Ohtani off, right? That's probably a bad idea. I think leaving Whit Merrifield off the Royal stacks would be a bad idea.
All right. So we are at 209 likes. I mean, Hoop was being nice at 250. We got 250 on a Sunday morning on July 4th. I personally think we need 300, but Hoop is giving
the number. I'm gonna make an adjustment here on the fly because the viewership number. Yeah, the viewership numbers have risen quite a bit. I mean, we're up to 560, and they didn't get to the 250. So now it's $3 bills. You got to get this.
All right, 300. Very good. 300 likes.
We call three spins. We call it the Tony Niehaus.
I love it. Any dig you can take at Tony is always a good one for you.
Yes, sir.
I know, you're welcome. So I don't know if you thanked me. I just said that anyway. So here we go. Jay Burton, a subscriber, is giving away a subscription to one of our viewers right now. If you are not a subscriber, now subscribers know what's cool. What's good for us is what's good for you. They already hit the like button, 300, and he says he's going to give it away. So there you go. We got another 65 likes. I think we're going to blow through it. Just an update: if you're playing Nelson Cruz in a twin stack tonight, don't do it. He coughed violently and hurt his neck, and now he's had a really bad chest cold. Rocco Baldelli, their manager, said he hurt his neck coughing violently, and he's had a bad chest cold. He can't stop coughing. So he went to the doctor today. Nice job. Nobody wants to go to the doctor. Probably should have done it last week, but he didn't. Hoop, when's the last time you got a physical, pal?
January.
Oh, me too. That's when I had mine. Blood work came back great. Cholesterol's 400. Everything's great on this side.
Yeah, we got the same, man. We got the same
You
issue.
got cholesterol?
I mean, I cannot, no matter what I do, eating, nothing. It doesn't go down. So I'm highly medicated for the high cholesterol. I guess it's hereditary. I never realized that. My parents, brother, we all kind of are stuck with it. And, just take the medicine and move on.
310 cholesterol over here. Borderline.
Yeah, I know mine's through the roof. But I've been taking the medicine for a while, so it stays down.
So, Hoop, second base. What do you got?
The guys, they kind of mentioned everyone. LB's at the top for sure. Whit Merrifield, a couple other guys. If you're looking to go super cheap, Hanser Alberto is 2.4K, second base, shortstop eligible. India, I like Cesar Hernandez is cheap, 3.4K, but Segura is a guy that's going to be very highly owned, 3.2K. You look at this Phillies lineup now, and there's only one guy in the top 5 that is priced higher than 3.6K. This side of the game, specifically on DK, is going to be very, very highly owned. You can do a lot of nice things by playing these guys. You can get both pitchers. I think the Philly side's going to be very, very popular now that we see this lineup.
Don't call Hoop a communist. We are anti-Pinko commie on this show. I don't know who called you a communist in the chat over there, but they're definitely not getting the free. No, I won't work with a communist. Are you a commie?
No, maybe it's why, because of the likes, because I bumped it up to 300 or something.
Yeah, that's not communism. That's an autocracy. So anyways, Hoop, since we already did second base, do you want to go to third and then pass it off to DC?
Yeah, let me go ahead, pull up third base. All right, we're at third base. And now the guys that are going to be popular here are obviously the Cubs guys. You got Chris Bryant, Patrick Wisdom, who still really cheap on FanDuel at 2.6K. Jose Ramirez at the top, 5.1K, very reasonable price for him. Austin Riley, 4.2K, really good price for him. So I really do like Austin Riley, where I think we're all kind of on the Braves here today. 4.2K is a solid price tag for him. Another guy I kind of like at the top, Manny Machado against Leicester, 5.4K. I think he is a strong play. Jan Makata, 4.6K. I think we're all, I know me and Mangone like the White Sox quite a bit. DC sounded like he did as well. Those the guys that are going to have the overwhelming majority, I think, of the ownership, assuming the lineup rolls out how we think it will for the Cubs, is going to be Chris Bryant and Wisdom. The rest of these guys, I think, come in with respectable ownership. But the guy that kind of stands out to me from a price perspective is definitely Austin Riley at 4.2K.
Hey, DC, before you get into the position real quick, did you see the Twins lineup today? Now you got no Cruz and no Donaldson. They're going to Rise, Larnach, Polanco, Kirilloff, Kepler, Sano, Gordon, Rortvedt, Simmons. Does that boost cease up any with this lineup?
Yeah, a couple of bums and Larnach and Kirilloff in there. Yeah, let's deal and Cease. But Vegas, not a lot of faith there. The Twins with a team total over 5 against Dylan Cease. You don't see
that'll
that often.
Drop once you
I
see.
think it already shifted a little bit.
And the money line shifted.
Yeah, the White Sox are now favored by like 125, minus 125.
But the total itself has risen. So that's just they're not big fans of my boy Bailey Ober, so yes. might have to abandon that train. We'll see. Third base. I did want to mention just the second base when Mangone brought up Whit Merrifield. I did look up the stolen base stats for Gutierrez, because obviously that's a big part of Whit's game, right? He leads the major leagues in steals. I think he's got 23 steals, something like that. Gutierrez teams have been running wild on him. 7 steals already in 38 innings, 0 caught stealing. So that's about as big a number as you'll see in that few of innings. So I wasn't really on Whit Merrifield. I had overlooked that fact, but I like him a lot more now, to be honest. So did want to mention that just briefly. Third base. I mean, Bryant and Wisdom, right? I think those 2 guys are going to have a ton of ownership. I do like Jose Ramirez quite a bit here. Rich Hill has been another guy that has seen a big decline in his performance with the foreign substance crackdown. Can't get quite the same spin and control on his fastball and curveball, which is the only 2 pitches that he has. And Ramirez has had a lot of success against Hill, including a couple stolen bases. So he's a good option at third base if you want to get away from the Wrigley Field guys. Other guys I'm looking at, Machado against Lester. I mean, we haven't talked about the Padres that much, but like on a typical slate, that would be kind of the spot that I'd be looking at. I love stacking against John Lester. So Machado, he's been heating up. Eugenio Suarez, I think a pretty good play against Mike Minor. Good chance at a home run there in Kansas City. And then one player to keep an eye on for the Braves, if you're on them, Orlando Arcia, former Brewers shortstop. The Braves traded for him after just a few games this season. He's been in AAA and he has been absolutely crushing it. Finally gets his chance here. He's 2,600, and I think we could see a pretty good run from Orlando Arcia. Hitting 7th, but if you need the savings there, and if you're on the Braves, I would include him because I think we might be seeing some good stuff from him. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a 4K player in a week or two. So just a guy to keep an eye on there if you need the savings.
Mangone's going to give us his third base picks, but first, DC, it's growing. It's getting bigger. It's your podcast. Give us a little plug here.
Yeah, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, talking baseball with a rotating cast of characters from the RPS community. And you can check that out. Just search Run Pure Sports wherever you get your podcast. You'll find it. Find me and who's ever on. I think we got G Rising tonight, I believe, on Monday night. So check that out if you want that early look for MLB.
I think the old guys pod is definitely coming back during NFL season. Me and G Rising and Uncle T. Can you imagine the crankiness that ensues there?
Uncle T. Wow, what a cast.
Uncle T turned into the heel. He got angry toward the end of the last season. So I'm looking forward to it. I like angry Uncle T.
I've learned not to cross Uncle T. He'll fire back at you.
Yes.
You want to stay on the right side of Uncle T. I mean,
you do. I've learned that the hard way.
Yeah. I got on Uncle T's bad side one time, and I will not make that mistake again, I promise.
No, he's got a direct line to Big T, too. So he'll go around the back.
I am way more terrified of Uncle T than Big T.
Yes. Second.
Way more terrified of Uncle T than Big T. Yeah. Wow.
Wait, it's not. It is literally not even close.
I could say the same. Uncle T has threatened to stab me. Probably not done that to you. Holden, who's at third base?
Here's the thing, Holden. You gotta butter up Uncle T. That way, when Uncle T is at lunch with Big T, he's just always, I love Mangone. He's the best. And then
I don't care about that part. I don't want to.
And then all the T's love you. Everyone, the uncles, the cousins. That's how you do it, Holden.
I don't care about kissing ass. I care about not going to the hospital and getting stitches for being stabbed by a kitchen knife. So Mangone, third base.
Yeah, third base. Austin Riley, I thought that was a good call by Hoop. He's definitely someone that people will probably not roster, right? They're all going to go to Chris Bryant, right? That's where you're going to start. Yes, you can throw him in your outfield if you want to, but a lot of people are going to start there with Chris Bryant. Moncada, definitely someone in the White Sox stack I will be considering. If you're playing a bunch of 5-mans, make sure to mix and match him throughout your lineups, get some exposure. The Machado call was good. I just go back and forth on what to do because that game's in San Diego, and I definitely lean on the weather and the parks a lot. And I just don't love that spot as much, but he has been crushing the ball. I think he's perfectly fine. You can go to a guy like Machado in this spot, but I like some of those other third basemen more. And then I like the Wisdom call. Obviously, he's another guy to consider, but it's more of a loaded day at third base, right? There's a lot of pretty good options. So if you're doing a 20 entry max, right, this is probably a good day to maybe, not go 100%, right? Don't slam the lock button on one of these third basemen. There's a lot of different ones I think you want to mix and match throughout your lineup.
Yeah, I think if you want to go one off there too, that Hunter Dozier's in a good spot tonight. So he's 2,900 on DraftKings. You can play him at third. You can play him in the outfield. Maybe that's not a one-off thing. Maybe that's more of a a royal stack thing. What do you think about that, Hoop? Like if you're running with a $2,900 Hunter Dozier, is that just a royal stack or could you one-off him?
I think if I'm gonna one off a guy, I want to just make sure he has power and he's outside of like the main guys that people are gonna stack. So on the Royals, he's outside of probably the main guys that everyone's gonna stack, and he has power. So I think he's like a perfect one off type play.
Perfect one off. Okay. Hey, Mangone, let's just get you to go to shortstop. Hand it off to DC after you're done. Obviously, there's always big names up top. I think Timmy Anderson's going to be in a great spot tonight. Obviously, Tatis, Bogarts, Adames. Actually, before you get into them, what's your take on Wander Franco lately? Are you okay with him just running him out there regardless of matchup? What's your take on Wander Franco? And then just go through the rest of the position.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about him against Robbie Ray the other day, right? I said you can play him against Robbie Ray. Like, I'm not saying to stack up the Rays against him, but like if you want to take some one-offs here and there, we know Robbie Ray can give up some stuff. So I was fine with him yesterday, perfectly fine with him again today here against Allen. It is pricier, right? It's 5.1K. He feels like a decent one-off, kind of like what I think Hoop was saying. If you play a one-off Holden, right? You don't want your one-off to be like 35% owned,
Hell
right?
no.
Because then you have to compete with all the other ones that are within the stack. Like Wander Franco makes a really good one-off, I think, today. Fernando Tatis, of course, if you want to spend for him, he probably will do well against Leicester. It just depends on lineup construction and if you have the salary to spend on that, right? Because if you got a cheaper shortstop that does better, then you're fine. And I think Tim Anderson is one of those guys that can get that job done. Javi Baez, obviously in the win game, right? At 4.6K. I think a lot of chalk will gravitate towards him today. So there's a lot of really good options. You can even make a case, bat him fifth for the Braves, Dansby Swanson. I mean, it's a loaded spot. This is not a position where I'd be like, hey, like, let me go play Zach Short at like 2.5K, right? I think you need to be spending your salary up there today at shortstop. I think this is a position that you want to maybe start like Dansby Swanson and up. I don't think I'd go even below that today.
DC, finish up this shortstop thing. Actually, Hoop's got to go too, but I don't like shortstop, so just take it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm with Mangone here. I think you want to spend. I have Tatis number one, even over Javier Baez if you can afford him, right? $1,500 more there. But Leicester just getting crushed by right-handed hitters this year. I don't think that many people are going to play the Padres on this slate, honestly. So I do think you can actually play Tatis as a one-off if you want to go in that direction. He's just got so much upside. He's got steal upside too. Leicester doesn't hold runners very well. Just a really, really great spot for Tatis. So I like him a ton. Of course, Javier Baez sitting there at 4,600. I feel pretty confident Javier Baez will be the most popular shortstop on this slate. I think deservedly so. Yeah, Franco, he's had hit into some bad luck, but hit a home run yesterday, like we talked about. I think he's still worth it. I think the Rays are a little bit sneaky against Logan Allen, who I'm not impressed with. And then, Xander Bogaerts at 5,500. I think the Red Sox could potentially do some damage against Suarez. Do prefer the Red Sox at home in general, but I don't mind it in LA. Not a bad place to hit either. So this is a spend position to me. I don't think you like Mangone said, you don't want to play Zach Short or Hanser Alberto or Kevin Newman, right? And go down to 2,500. Just not the spot to do that. So I think you want to get one of these studs because there's going to be a couple of these high-end shortstops are going to go off, and the cheaper shortstops they're just not going to match it, right? You're going to be 25, 30 fantasy points behind, I think, at shortstop if you totally punt this position. So to me, I think you do need to spend here.
Okay. Hoopage, shortstop.
Yeah, not much to add. I mean, Tatis, Baez, Gregorius, he's only 3.6K. If I'm going to go away from those guys, I'd probably look to the Braves. Dansby Swanson, 3.9K. I think he's fine. Even Orlando Arcia, 2.6K. But honestly, I kind of am buying into the overall sentiment from Mangone and DC, where you could, if you try to save some money here, you could be way, way behind at the position because, to me, like Tatis or Baez, one of those guys is going to have a massive game. And, if your guy doesn't do something, you could be playing from, 20, 25 fantasy points from behind at the other position. So I think it's best to lock in one of those guys. Obviously, things can happen. They could go out and both kind of bust, but I don't think it's very likely on this slate. I'll be focusing on those guys and Gregorius here.
Okay, we have Jay Burton giving away a 1-month subscription to RPS. Jay Burton, all he is just a subscriber, just like many of you watching right now. But he's won so much money, he's like, screw it, let's give back and keep the great mojo up. 20 more likes, we get to 300. And guess what? One of you, wonderful lady or gentleman, is going to end up winning a 1-month subscription to Run Pure Sports. Hoop, if they don't win today and they learn about that, how do they sign up for a subscription? What do you use? What code?
Yeah, so we got the RPS Heater 25 for monthly subscriptions only, gets you 25% off your first month payment. And then after that, it's $80 for DFS, $100 for DFS and bets. Again, it includes everything on our website. We kind of have the same bit where we say it, but I mean it's the truth. The other sites around the industry, they're kind of nickel and diming you every time a new sport starts, and that's just not the case at Run Pure Sports. It is one price. Get everything on the website, every sport. We talk about it all the time. Some of these sites charging $500 for NASCAR alone.
Silly.
Like we had the NASCAR nuts this week, and I believe BigT and some of the other members were on the team that shipped it all. And the members that were included in that train, they didn't pay $500 extra for NASCAR. They paid, the $80 per month, maybe cheaper if they use the promo code. And they're able to kind of fall in that lineup too. So RPS Heater 25 is that promo code.
I thought I saw Joey work in the chat. For an extra $20, you had the bet side. I mean, what a joke.
Total.
What a joke. It's like $20 for the bet side with the guys that we got with Joey Work and JJ, and we still got NBA betting with Tyler and Spread, Keg for NFL season. You talk about NASCAR. I don't know if anybody hits NASCAR like Keg does. So get the bet side too. It's cheap and it's really, 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 really good. I endorse it. Okay, Hoop, let's stay in the outfield. Just play Ohtani and try and figure everything else out. My God, this guy is going bananas. But the popular guys, right? You'll have Ohtani, you'll have Bryce Harper, and you'll have Chris Bryant, who's outfield eligible. So what's the outfield take?
I don't think Ohtani's going to be all that popular.
I don't think he will be.
No,
I think he's going to be pretty low owned as a lefty-lefty matchup, but that really doesn't matter for him. I think elite tournament option. The guys that are going to be owned, the Cubs guys, Chris Bryant, you can play in the outfield. Even Jake Marisnick, he's only 2.6K on DK, 2.1K on FanDuel. He's showing some pop. He's going to be very popular. Andrew McCutchen, 3.6K on DK, cheap on FanDuel. Bryce Harper, that's where we're probably going to see most of the ownership. Now, other guys you can take a look at who I kind of like is Ryan O'Hearn. You can play first base, outfield. He's 3.2K, and this is DC's boy. We dug into it, smashing in the minors, comes up, and I'm not so certain how he's been doing recently, but he kind of got off to a hot start. You can play Gavin Sheets at 2.6K. Eli White 2.6. A ton of cheap guys you can play. In terms of the spends, Bryce Harper. You talked about Ohtani. I think we can definitely go to even a guy like Soler at 3.3K. You can play Whit Merrifield in the outfield. I do like the Royals a little bit. Aquino for the Reds, batting 7th tonight against Mike Minor. Acuna, obviously, very good spend at 5.9K. And you might have the money to get all the way up there because we do have some cheap guys and we don't have, too expensive pitchers that we have to pay out for. I mean, there's a ton of options, like always, in the outfield. Brian Good, didn't mention him, batting 4th against DC's boy, 3.1K.
DC, can you start a little lower here? Some value guys besides for Sheets. Why don't you start with Eli White? Because he wasn't even on my radar, and then Hoop just brought him up. Any interest there?
Yeah, for sure. I think we haven't really mentioned Texas Rangers, but they've got a team total near 5 as well. I think they'll be lower owned. So yeah, Eli White's definitely got upside. You've got David Dahl in that Texas lineup at 2,300, and then one of my favorite outfield plays of the day is Joey Gallo, going up against Wiley Peralta. Is it Willie or Wiley? I don't know. But Willie Peralta. Okay. But just not a good pitcher, right? I mean, he was like out of baseball. The Tigers are just out of arms. So he's making starts for them now. He's going to get crushed. I mean, he's got one of the lowest strikeout rates against lefties of any pitcher over the last few years. And that's exactly what you want for a guy like Joey Gallo or David Dahl or Nate Lowe. So yeah, I think Texas could do a lot of damage here. Other cheaper guys, Gavin Sheets, we talked about him, 2,600. I'm sure he'll be very, very popular, hitting sixth as he should be. Mangone doesn't like when I mention him, but Trevor Larnach, he hit a home run over the weekend. He looks like a good play, 2,700 against Dylan Cease. We see, the odds makers don't have a lot of faith in Dylan Cease, and I kind of agree with them on that point. So he looks like a good option. I think outfield, we talked about spending at shortstop, right? You need one of those top shortstops.
Mm-hmm.
Outfield, you can find the upside, right? You can find guys below 3K at outfield that at least could match the top outfielders. Again, it's obviously Ronald Acuna is more likely to do damage than Trevor Larnach is, but Larnach does have power, and so does Gavin Sheets. So I think if you're spending, or if you need to find savings to get in Woodruff or a top end shortstop, I think outfield is most likely the best place to do it. So plenty of solid guys at 3K and below here.
Cubs lineups out, guys. Contreras, Bryant, Rizzo, Baez, 1, 2, 3, 4. Wisdom's batting fifth. And you got Jock, you got Marisnick, and Nico Horner. Mr. Mangone, the Outfield. Let's talk about some of these guys with the Cubs. So obviously you got Bryant and Wright, but down low, you got Bryant, I should say, but down low you got Peterson hitting sixth, Marisnick hitting seventh. Do you trust Marisnick, and would you be okay with like a 4, 5, 6, 7 Cub stack tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that. If you want to stack the Cubs, you need to look for a way to be unique, right? And Marisnick against a lefty, they're certainly going to look his way. Listen, if they were really concerned about pulling Jake Marisnick from the game, they're going to pull Jock first, right? More than likely. Obviously, it depends what matchup happens, but they have Jock against a lefty, so I wouldn't worry about him just getting pulled from the game or anything. So I really like going to some of these Cubs outfielders to make your lineups a bit unique. I think that's smart. I know I made fun of Trevor Larnach a lot, DC. He's earned his way, right? Look at his game log. You got to earn trust and respect in this league. You know what I mean? So he's getting there. He's playing a lot better. I think it's a good call today. A cheap guy that I like I think Michael Taylor is a really good contrarian option for cheap. Again, we talk about the stolen bases, right, DC? Now, Michael Taylor isn't just known for being this humongous stolen base. Guy's got 4 or 5 on the season, but he also doesn't play every day. But if whatever his name is, Vladimir Gutierrez, if he's really that bad stolen base-wise, I think Michael Taylor is a smart idea to throw in your lineups there as the differentiation play within your Royal stack. That's going to be 0.2% owned or whatever, because I don't think anyone's really going to be playing him. I think he's a nice salary saver. So
I like it. Yep.
Like him a lot, and like him in those mini stacks. I love those White Sox outfielders though, right? Brian Goodwin, going to be chalky for a reason, but like him a lot. Gavin Sheets, Vaughn, even Adam Eaton. Adam Eaton is 2.7K, guys. Hoop, at the top of the show, you said JT Realmuto. We're getting a savings. What kind of savings are we getting on Adam Eaton? It feels like we're getting a 2K savings in the 8-hole, and he's probably going to be a differentiation play, right, Hoop?
Yeah, I mean, super cheap, and considering this matchup and everything, I think he's definitely too cheap. I mean, but there are a lot of guys that can kind of fall into that same category in the outfield today. I mean, there is a lot of value here at this position, and typically, we have some of our higher upside guys too. So this position makes it easy just to go up and play a guy like Wilson Contreras at the catcher position, like we kind of talked about at the opening.
Yep. No, agree 100%. So I like a lot of these outfielders today. More Royals outfielders like Ryan O'Hearn. You can put him at first. You can put him in the outfield. He's great. Witt, you can also throw in the outfield if you want, while others are putting him at second base. There's a lot of different ways to go in the outfield today. I mean, we can name them all, but I think the smartest thing to mention is what BigT says, right? Look for correlation between your teams. And then when you're taking these outfielders, right, look for some of these one-off guys that might not have some ownership. And if they pop off, right, you're going to be able to have them to yourself and really make a difference when you have that 5-man stack go off with it.
Anything else you guys want to say before we get to our plays of the day? Good. So before we do that, did we hit 300 yet, Hoop? When we get 300 likes, Jay Burton's giving away the free 1-month subscription. He's a subscriber. He's won so much, he wants to pay it back. So how about at the end of the plays of the day, you guys get us to 300 so we can give that away today. I'd really like to do that. Somebody's going to be very happy. So help us out here. DC has the mom's basement play of the day. DC, what is the mom's basement play of the day?
Yeah, I'm going to Texas and going to Joey Gallo, who I think you'll get at relatively low ownership today against Willie Peralta just gets crushed by lefties, can't strike anybody out, which is obviously the main way that you get Joey Gallo out. We saw him have a monster week last week, cooled down over the weekend. Reason being 2 and 3 strikeouts, right? Over in Seattle. I don't think Peralta's going to be able to strike him out. When you can't strike Gallo out, you're looking at home runs. So I think he's going to do some serious damage. I like Texas a little bit in general, but more prefer Gallo as kind of as a one-off. I don't think a lot of people are going to go in that direction. So Joey Gallo, Mom's Basement play of the day.
For those of you that are worried about the 6 dislikes, don't worry about it. As far as the algorithm goes, they think it's likes too. So the people that are disliking us are actually helping us. It's amazing, isn't it? 4X play of the day for Hoopage. Let's get to it. It can't be Joey Gallo. So who is it, Hoop?
Really like the Royals today. Talked about the Royals quite a bit. Obviously, the Phillies, Cubs guys are all going to be pretty popular. I'm going to the Royals. I'm going to our boy Ryan O'Hearn. Cheap on both sides. I think he gets us a bomb tonight.
Okay. The next one is the dry hump play of the day. I think you should change it to the sweet Travis play of the day. I would really like that. I think that would be wonderful. It can be
whatever you want, Holden. I don't care. I just want it to be a winner. I just want it to win. As long as it gives the people money, like Jose Abreu yesterday. Sure. It feels like it was that easy, but dude, I got the 28 points.
He saved my ass. I had the White Sox team total over 5. Thank God he hit that home run. At least I pushed on it. That dude saved my ass yesterday. So is Jose Abreu your player of the day again? No,
yeah, we're going back to the well. I mean, of
course,
he's expensive, right? People will say that you can't give him. He's such a good player. No one's playing him today, right? Like they're all going to Freddie Freeman instead. They'll go to some of those other guys. Freeman has been absolutely on fire. He's a guy who started out the year kind of cold. I'm riding Jose Abreu for a while now. It's coming, right? This heater is going to be a good one for Jose Abreu, and I'm staying on the train. So give me Jose Abreu. I said he'd give you 2 home runs yesterday. He got you 28 fantasy points, so he got it done. We're going to say it again. We'll say 2 home runs. He gets you the 28, and we move on to tomorrow.
I mean, I wasn't even supposed to do this show, so I'm not. You know what? Screw it. I'll give it. Boats and Hose play of the day. They call it the Edibles play of the day. Let's go. Let's go with my boy. Do I go Dozier or O'Hearn? You know what? Let's get crazy. Let's go Ryan O'Hearn tonight for the home run. He's going to get us a home run. He's going to get us
hate to see it. You really hate to see it. You really hate to see it.
This is back-to-back days Holden gave the same play out.
You really hate to see it when the host isn't even listening. He rolls it out perfectly and doesn't even listen to the fucking play.
I pulled a Mangone.
You did it yesterday?
Well, you mentioned 2 guys.
Hey, we're going to start calling it a Holden.
I got to tell you guys, this did not start happening until I started working here. It's been a long time. I think it's now me trying to pick a winner. Hoop, I sincerely apologize.
Hey, there's room for 2. That means O'Hearn's going to get it done for. As long as he hits
I'll just go with the other one, Otani. Just go Otani. That's going out on a limb. Just pay up for Otani because he's going to be 5% owned tonight. Honest to God, I don't know if I've had Otani at more than 10% owned like the last week. He's so expensive. People fade him and they don't want to think about the Angels. Maybe one time when they're taking on some shitty Baltimore starter, but that was about it.
Holden. West Coast Jam said it best. Blame it on the cholesterol. That's what it was. That cholesterol. That's all.
Blame it on the cholesterol.
Oh yeah. They're all coming after me now. JPL 711. You're just mean. You're mean, JPL. I got the winner though, Hoop. His name is Troy Lofton. He said he's broke.
Oh,
so that's automatically going to get you in, right? Because he needs the money.
Getting free things is usually beneficial. So I kind of like.
So it can't hurt.
Is he going to be able to take advantage though? Like, can he enter contests? He's got the free membership.
Well, I mean, if he's got $5, he could play the $5 $1.
You run it up. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, and he could just do it and just slowly build. Don't shoot your whole wad the first day, buddy. Troy Lofton. So here's what you need to do. You need to email info@runpuresports. I can't believe I picked the same one as Hoop though. It's so bad. info@runpuresports.com. info@runpuresports.com. Troy, say you got the free subscription for a month and just say it's from Burton. And that's it. And then I'll make sure we take care of the rest. So everybody getting in there. LOL has a membership, but no money to play. If he has $5, that's all you need. Throw $5 in there, play some $1 and have a good time. I mean, it's as simple
Maybe
as
he
that,
just wants a nice community in the Discord. It's all good.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. You get to hang out in the, you get to hang out in the Discord. No bearded disciple. I was never begging for likes like Mangone. Do I forget? Do I not listen? Once in a blue moon, but never beg for likes. DC, anything you'd like to say before we leave?
I don't think so, man. Good slate tonight. Excited for it. Thanks for tuning in to everybody. And, good luck to the broke man. I'll see you in the Discord. Feel free to send me DMs about lineups.
Troy Lofton.
Yeah.
Troy, you know what? I want the first thing you do in the Discord is start busting DC's balls because he said that you didn't have enough money to play. There's nothing wrong with playing a 10 cent, a dime thing. Mangone, Meredith Street.
Couple things, Troy. Grab some ramen noodles this week so you're able to enter some contests, right? Maybe you ship tonight, right? And if you ship tonight, you can hit the dollar menu. I don't know. And then
you got to have some things around the house that you can pawn off to get in some entries. You'll make it work.
Yeah, hop on the Facebook Marketplace, throw it on the street. Maybe get a couple dimes to enter some contests. And I'm gonna stay on brand because the people want me to. Give us those 2 thumbs up, Holden, because that's what we want here on this show.
Okay. Hoop, I'm really looking forward to your final words before my final words.
I just literally have no clue how I can top, what just occurred. So, best of luck there. Great contest. Holden, maybe next time. It's very hurtful. You and I have a nice, repertoire on the shows. We have, similar health conditions.
Yeah.
The high cholesterol. Just focus in on me.
Focus a little bit more.
I see you.
Probably not going to do that, Hoop, but thank you very much. Keep running pure. And Simon, get us out of here, man. Get us out.